What is going on, Grinders? It is Chief. We are in the building. It is Thursday. It is August 10th, 2023. It is Take Your Pick'em, folks. And I am so glad to be with you yet again this morning to talk through today's MLB happenings and the Pick'em squares that are on the site. So just grateful, man, that you guys have come in to support this show. Jeff, Boom, the whole Take Your Pick'em crew, we appreciate you so much. It is time for winning words of wisdom. When I came across this one this morning, I said, I think this one just really speaks volumes. And I think we can all grab a hold of this one and take this one, grab the bull by the horns and run with it. I think this one is really special. This is coming from Don Miguel Ruiz. And here's what he says. He says, always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. No regrets, folks. Always do your best. Wake up and be the best version of yourself that you can be every single day. Be the best person that you can be to your community every single day. The best person to your family. Go ahead and just be good. As a matter of fact, don't be good. Go and be great. Be the greatness that's inside of you every single day. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. Top Shot Picks, good morning, brother. So glad that you were able to hop in this morning as well. All right, we're going to go over our recap. Bill Bowman, good morning, sir. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to go over our recap from yesterday. Yesterday, folks, is the only dud we've had this month. We didn't hit anything. It just did not come together. I could explain it away, and I will. I'll say that. Did I think we were going to hit Johnny Cueto? Yes, he was at 77 pitches through 5. They pulled him. Did I think we were going to get Adrian Hauser? Yes, he was at 67 pitches through 3 or 4. They pulled him. So I'm not worried about it. Process is sound. See, process over results. But as of yesterday, we're now 18-8-1 on the season. Yesterday, we won at Max Fried, more than 5 strikeouts. We took an L there. Adrian Hauser, we won at more than 26.5 fantasy points, was well on his way. We took an L there. And Johnny Cueto at 16.5 pitching outs, we took the L there. But as I always talk about, folks, keep that positive mindset. Keep pushing forward. Don't get too high or too low. We have a big day. We celebrate. And then we move on to the next day because there's more things on the board. We have a bad day. We say, all right, that was pretty sucky. We get that out of our minds. We push forward. We move to the next day. No day is going to get me out of my routine more than the next day. And so it's just another day at the office. We're coming right in. And folks, this is going to be my play of the day. We're going right over Minnesota, Detroit. We've got Kenta Maeda facing the Detroit Tigers, and I think this is a really good spot for him. We've seen him just really pick up the strikeout stuff this season. In terms of what we've seen from him on the season, this is very good to be, folks. For Kenta Maeda on the season, we've got him at a 29.6% K rate, 29.6% K rate on the season for Kenta Maeda. Over the past 30 days, we have him at a 34.9% K rate, 34.6% to lefties, 35.2% to righties. Good morning, Jeff. Thanks so much for joining us. And we've seen Detroit, as they continue to go through the season, the strikeouts continue to pile up. I mean, we've seen some of these Twins pitchers really get rolling, especially in the form of Bailey Ober yesterday. He just had a nuke strikeout game. Didn't get through a lot of innings, but the strikeouts were there. Kenta Maeda, on the other hand, I do think at 6 strikeouts, we want more than that projection. This should be a spot where he can get in as long as he has good location, keeps the walks down. I think we'll have some swings and misses here. When we talk about Kenta Maeda, one of the things that you guys know I love, pitchers that throw splitters. Kenta Maeda throwing a splitter at 31.2% of the time this season. I think this should bode well as we look at the particular hitters that he's going to see. When we look at the splitter numbers, folks, look at this. This is a sea of red. Now, these are limited. plate appearances, but I think the fact still remains they don't see the splitter as much, so it's definitely going to be a little bit harder for them to hit, especially if Maeda is practicing good location. I think the splitter gets rolling for him here today, and hopefully this sea of red piles up. I'd love to get Maeda checked off without a sweat, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way. So that would be fantastic. But even all in all, outside of the splitter, this team has an average K rate of 23.6%, and that's with a few guys above 25, one guy above 30, most guys above 20% in the lineup. So I'm hoping Kenta Maeda can come out and continue to do his thing like he's been doing all season. Now, our particular projections only have him at 5 strikeouts. I'm going to disagree with that. I think Maeda has a shot to really dial up some big numbers here today, and hopefully that all materializes just like we want to see. So once again, right out of the gate at the top of the board, we've got Kenta Maeda. He's at 6 strikeouts across the industry. We want more than that projection. That's across the industry on all the sites. All right, next up, we're going to the Baltimore game, and we're going to utilize Mr. Kramer here. So it's Dean Kramer. We've got Dean Kramer, and he's sitting at 2.5 earned runs allowed across, or earned runs against across the industry. We're going to go with more than that projection. Let's talk through that. So with this particular Houston lineup, what I'm seeing is that this team is starting to hit. And I talked about them earlier when they were facing a team this week. They were facing Grayson Rodriguez, and I said the reason why I wanted less than the fantasy points. Well, in this one, at Dean Kramer at 2.5 earned runs allowed, we want more than that projection. We're starting to see Houston really dial up the scoring, and they're not doing it with. They hit some home runs yesterday, but all in all, this is a team that will kind of pick you apart: single, double, 2-run RBI, stuff like that. So that's what we're seeing from Houston. At the top of this lineup, I definitely think Dean Kramer, despite the fact that he's been good most of the season, I think he's going to have some troubles here. So we've got Altuve. This is on the season, 16% K rate. Bregman on the season, 15% K rate. Alvarez on the season, 19% K rate. Tucker on the season, 14% K rate. And then Diaz, 16.4% K rate on the season. And Abreu's K rate has come down. Now, early this season, I think Abreu was around a 30% K rate, if I'm not mistaken. But if you look over the past 30 days here, look at this. Jose Abreu, 19%. Look at this entire lineup over the past 30 days. Altuve, 19. Bregman, 17. Alvarez, 9. Tucker, 10. Diaz, 15. Abreu, 19. Singleton only has 1 plate appearance. We're going to ignore that. Then we've got Pena and Jake Myers at 26 and 35, respectively. But all in all, this lineup has drastically improved as we've seen them go through the season. They're also making really good contact. So when I see that from a team and I'm looking at that and how they've improved, I'm looking at how they're scoring runs. It's not always the home run ball. They can score runs 1 to 2 here and there each inning. This is what I want to see. And so once again, folks, this lineup has really been turning it around. As you can see, over the season, the numbers have improved. Over the past 30 days, drastic improvement from this lineup. I wish I probably should have tried to pull up how many runs they've been scoring. If you want that quickly, you can just kind of go over to teamrankings.com. That'll give you a real quick synopsis of what this team has been doing over 1 game, I think 3 games, 5 games, 10 games in the season. But definitely I know over the past, let's say 10 games, I mean, this team has really been dialing up the scoring. Another thing that I like about Dean Kramer here, the reason why I think they're going to be able to attack him, so he's not throwing stuff that's going to have a lot of movement. Now, and when I say movement, I'm saying sliders, things of that nature. He is throwing a fastball. He'll have some movement. He is throwing a cutter, right? He is throwing a sinker. But generally speaking, right, this team is going to be able to sit on these pitches. So when you look at the fastball here, he's throwing that 32% of the time. Look at the K rates. Mostly good, right? At the top half of this lineup is going to be looking pretty good. The cutter is going to keep the ball on the ground, right? But look at the cutter numbers. Still a little bit easier pitch to hit. And then he's got the sinker, which is going to be another one that he's just trying to keep the ball on the ground. For somebody like Kyle Tucker, I'm sorry. This might be a good pitch for him to get a home run ball off of today. But when we look at the sinker, we still see really good K rate. So this team is going to make contact. What we're hoping for is BABIPs on our side. They pick up singles and doubles, drive a couple runs in early, and then we're good to go. So once again, just to kind of put a bow on that, that is Dean Kramer at 2.5 earned runs allowed We want more than that particular projection. All right, we're moving to our last one of the day. And this one, last I checked, we could get it on Underdog. This may be an Underdog only. I don't think we're going to be able to get this one on PrizePicks. I'm checking Underdog to make sure that they haven't moved it as of yet. Okay, before I give that up, they hadn't moved it right before the show, but I want to make sure that they have moved it now. So we're gonna avoid that one. We're gonna go to another one. And this one will be an underdog play as well. And if they haven't moved this one, they've moved it, but I'm still going to take it. So that's Matthew Liberatore, and that's going to be his fantasy points. He was at 18.5. He's at 17.5. I still want less than that. Matthew Liberatore has really been getting hit pretty good this season. Has not shown the ability to strike out a lot of guys. We've seen him get punished by Minnesota. And today, folks, he's going into Tampa Bay. This is going to be a tough lineup for him now. They do have some strikeouts down here at the bottom, but Yandy Diaz, Wander Franco, Paredes, Harold Ramirez, this is going to be some tough outs for him. And so when we look at this last 30 days in terms of strikeouts, 4% K rate over the last 30 days, 5% to righties, none to lefties. Over the season, 12% respectively, 13% to lefties, 12% to righties. I think this is a tough spot for Mr. Liberatore. Honestly, the more I'm thinking about it, I may even take a shot at less than 3 strikeouts. I'll take a shot at it just to see. I don't think he picks up more than 3. We've definitely probably got some push potential, but if you're uncomfortable with the 17.5 fantasy points, which I do think is the better option, I think that's the best option. I think you can roll with that one. I'm also going to check on PrizePicks, and let's see if they've got him in the earned runs allowed. No, they don't have him in the earned runs allowed category, so we won't worry about that one. But once again, that's Matthew Liberatore. We've got him at 17.5 fantasy points. We want less than that projection. This guy has just been hashtag not good, giving up runs to all sorts of teams. And so I think as long as Tampa Bay rolls out a reasonable lineup close to their starters, which I think they will, playing a little bit later in the day, I think we're going to get that one. And folks, that's going to wrap up the plays. This is a smaller slate. We're not going to stretch ourselves. We want good plays. We want to get those in, and we want to put a few more dollars in our pocket. So at the top of the lineup, we've got Kenta Maeda at 6 strikeouts. We want more than that projection. I didn't talk about this, but let's include it in the tally anyway. You can mix and match this one. He's also at about 32.5 fantasy points on PrizePicks last I checked, and 31.5 on Underdog last I checked. I would probably still take him up to 34.5 fantasy points. I think Kenta Maeda with the strikeouts is going to really dial it up for us. So what's got? We'll take him up to 34.5. Get him now while he's 31 and 32.5 on those sites respectively. We'll include those in the official tally. All right, next up on the board, we've got Dean Kramer at 2.5 earned runs allowed. We want more than that projection facing the Houston Astros. And then also on top of that, we've got Mr. Matthew Liberatore. We want primarily 17.5 fantasy points. We want less than that projection on Underdog. You can include the 3 strikeouts. We want to include that one in the official tally because that one I do feel like it probably has a lot of push potential. But the 17.5 fantasy points, I want less than that one. And I can thank one of my good friends for that. We had a discussion about that this morning. So thank you, my brother. It was great discussing that one with you as we kind of talked through the plays a little bit. All right, folks, I'm Chief. This has been Take Your Pick'em. Come in with your pockets empty, leave with your pockets full. Let's get the sweep. And I'll see you tomorrow.